From UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
Back to if you are doing comparison. But I would have loved to be here with you throughout, like I used to do. I usually interact with you. Unfortunately, I just have information that I need to be at the office of the Vice President at 10:30. So I'll leave you at some point. But before that, I think I should interact with you. Let me say that the results that has been published by WASSCE came in when there were some outstanding results, which I made clear when I granted interview to West Coast Radio. We had about 1,458 results that were outstanding when that number of 605 students with 5 credits, including an English language, was presented. There was an outstanding of 1,400. It is my pleasure to inform you that this morning, some part of that 1,458 students' results have been sent to us this morning. And certainly, as I indicated in some of the interviews I had in the past week, that has 116 students with 5 credits, including English and maths. But let me also add that there is still some pending results that we expect to receive from WASSCE, just for your information. But that aside, there are students who got 6 credits, who got 7 credits, who got 8 credits, who got 9 credits. Unfortunately, they have not been captured in any of the analysis that has been circulated, meaning those students have been ignored and they have been considered as failures. And that's an unfortunate thing. Someone could have 7 credits, but never had a credit in English, and that was not captured. Someone can have 8 credits, and unfortunately does not have a credit in maths, and that is also not captured. So as a sector, we are cognizant of what we used to have. And what we used to have as a sector is content-based knowledge. Content-based knowledge. What does that mean? The exams that were conducted or the assessment that were given to students were based on just content. And that is the more reason why students sit to exams and only regurgitate what they are taught. But thereafter, they fall short of the competencies that we are looking for. And that is the more reason also that we also give those exams or assessment just to take students to the university. And that was the reason for the compulsory credit English and maths. But as a sector, it is not in our interest to only concentrate on students that can go to university. There is nowhere in the world where everybody transits to university. It doesn't happen anywhere. And even if it does, are we all going to head to the medical school? Are we all going to head to the engineering school? What happens to the other skills that we need as a country? Development cannot happen with only one set of skills. We have to have diverse sets of skills. so that when they come out of the educational system or cycle, they should be able to gain employment either in the public, private, or self area. From 2017 to date, I'll give you some percentage statistic. In 2017, we have 21.7% of the students that sat to WASSCE exams failing. And I'll define failing here. These are students who scored, and what that translates to also is that these are people who cannot be employed and can also not be trained. Because if you get 9 throughout, that's an indication of unemployability and also untrainability. So we said, no, we cannot continue to have that. What we need to do is to reduce the fail rate so that at some point there will be nobody failing. And that has constantly been maintained. In 2018, from 21.7%, the ministry went all the way to 14.9%, at least a reduction of about 6.5% thereabout. That continued in 2019. Unfortunately, in 2019, it was brought to 9 points, but in 2020, the number went up a bit. And we said, no, we need to look at again how we need to maintain this. And that was the more reason why in 2019, from 11.5 thereabout in 2019, we brought it to 9.4 in 2021. And in 2021, from that 9.4, we brought it to 6%, only 6% in 2022. So my colleagues, I want to ask you, if you have maintained that steady reduction in fail rates from 21.7% in 2017 to 6% in 2022, does that suggest that this year's results is the worst results ever? I leave the analysis to you. Shifting from that, as a country, we must decide what we want. I will give you privileged information that this year, by the grace of God, with everything equal, we are hoping to have a mid-policy review. Presently, we are operating a policy of 2016 to 2030. And in that policy, there are a lot of interest areas and goals and objectives that we've set ourselves, not only as a ministry or a sector, but as a country. This year is an opportunity for us to reverse that policy, if we so will, at the midterm review. It's all about quality education. I'll give you a few things that will change the dynamics if we want quality education. One of them is teacher-pupil ratio, meaning how many students should a teacher be exposed to, or should a teacher interact with? Meaning how many students should be in a class. That's one of the parameters that can change the dynamics. August 2022, if we want to eliminate double shift, the students in the lower basic, for us to be able to cater for them without anyone staying out of school, in terms of furniture, in terms of classrooms, it will cost us 1.5 just for the upper basic or basic cycle and the senior secondary schools, if you want to eliminate the double shift. We should not build or establish any new school. If we do, it means additional cost. I am saying holding everything constant as it is now. If we should put those children on only one shift from 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, that's what we need to invest today to get them into the schools and classrooms. Even if we have the money today, do we have the space? For example, go to Bundum. We want to put up a school, we are struggling for place. Joshua, the same. Igbo Town, the same. Streets who are still not in school. This number would have been added to that number that is presently in the streets. Is that our desire as a sector? Is that our desire as a country? These are questions we should all look at. I've only spoke about classrooms and furniture, but let me come to the side of the teachers that will be needed. Remember, the class, once they are increased, you need more teachers. Presently, we have about 24,000 teaching staff across the country, both public and private. But if we need to eliminate the double shift, we will need 3,000 plus teachers today. Meaning if we don't build any other new, but we only operate a single shift 8 to 4, we need additional 3,000 plus teachers in the system to be able to teach those classes that we are going to open. Their salaries, their allowances, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is, as a sector, we are aware of the plight of the Gambians, and we are very, in fact, happy that we've seen some interest being placed on education, and that is going to help us a long way. But we would have been happier, like my colleague said, that those people who have interest in education engage with the sector so that they have the correct and accurate data to be able to circulate. Remember, information is power. And if you don't send the accurate information or data, you can mislead quite a number. And that is the reason for all these mishaps that we find in the social media. So as a sector, we thought we should ordinarily interface with you so that we share some of these things with you. We wouldn't have spoken. It did not really give the accurate picture. And that was what prompted some of us to intermittently respond to some of those claims. We are open to the media. We are open to any stakeholder. We are open to development partners. It is in our interest. We will not begin to portion blame. Everyone has a stake in education. It has been our slogan that everybody should be an educator. not be sitting all day and all of that. So I want to encourage all of you, and thank you very much for your audience. I will take 1 or 2 questions before I leave so that I hand you over to the rest of my team. Validates what we do. Validate, by this I mean they examine or assess our students. So their operations are independent. But when they finish that, they share that result for us. We are aware and we are in discussion. That is the reason for these remaining results coming in this morning. So your short and all answer is yes, we have. They are in the know, they are in the picture. And that's why these additional results came in this morning.
Yes, yes. My name is Nelson. I am from Korea. My question has to do with the analysis of the results. I want to know, is it that results from WASSCE always come by bits? Because that also determines the analysis. That you said you have been receiving these results and they are coming even in the morning. Is it that WASSCE marks results and then send them by bits? Or is it that they mark the whole results and send them at the same time? What affects the analysis of the results?
Nothing affects the analysis. What the question should have been, what is responsible for this intermediate coming up the result? The analysis remains the same. What happens is work conducts the assessment and schools are expected and obliged to fulfill certain obligations. One of them is the CASMA, continuous assessment scores of students. When a student gets to grade 10, from that point, that student is being assessed, and that is accumulatedly put together to add onto his final or her final score at grade 12 after the WASSCE. So there are some schools that have not submitted those CAS marks to work. There are some administrative issues. Again, schools might have submitted. However, work needs to standardize those results. For example, if I teach a class, I would want all my students to pass, naturally. So I can give them assessment 90, 90, 94, 94. But when it gets to work, they need to standardize that so that they just don't give people A's or B's. They will give you grades that you really earned, you really worked for. So that's the reason for that. It's administrative issues, and we allow them to process them independent of the ministry. That's what happened.
Has that been happening?
Yes, yes. That has been happening. And it's not only unique to this country. It's not only unique.
Thank you very much. Yes, you know me already.
My apologies. I told you I would have loved to, but
DPS is here. Yes, thank you very much. So
I hope that I'll be able to.
So we have DPS over here,
Welcome, everyone.
and please, we are expecting more sections so that at least the air is clear. You are not satisfied with the answer.
Of making sure that you get this CAS marks, because it is students' right. They need this CAS marks and they should get it. So it is not the problem of the students, rather it is the problem of the administration of the school. What are the schools doing? Have you ever engaged the schools to make sure that they send the CAS marks early, so that the results will not come by bits, they will come at once?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. But even if the CAS marks were all submitted, the results in everything will come by bits. Do you know why? a particular school, there may be some questions that WAEC may raise regarding the results. They need to do some investigation before they verify and certify the results. So because of one school, they cannot hold the whole country at ransom. They will release what is ready or that they have certified. And the ones that they still need to verify, they follow on the verification. So it's not only the CAS marks that is withholding some of the results, but also in the practice of the exam and the assessment, some abnormalities may be realized and they need to verify. They don't just jump to say, we are canceling results for Mr. Esamaro. They need to verify. Why is it that ESA questions or the way he answered is very similar to the way she answered? That in and of itself, in trying to detect what we call collusion, cheating, and you name them, malpractice in exams in general. So that is why sometimes the result will be released for, in a particular school, 100 candidates may have registered, they release the 50, and the other 50 they would withhold, following investigation as to what has happened during the exam.
Okay.
Received, because what I can say, I may not be, like I said, to tell you exactly this amount has been received, but I know some has been received because the figures have changed regarding those who have credit in 1, 2, up to 9, including English or mathematics, and that has changed the narration now. We need to go back to maybe our planning guys who were doing the analysis to exactly tell us how much. But as we speak now, because this just came this morning, we asked them to quickly do some analysis and bring it back. But maybe we can fall back to them to know exactly the number. But as you speak, I cannot give you those figures. All I can tell you is we have received some which have changed the narratives, but the outstanding is not completed. Because, like I said, maybe they are done with 2 or 3 schools. There are a few other schools which are to come, but they will still also not withhold those 3, schools, because the rest are not completed. Because remember, these children need their resources to go into higher education, to tertiary institutions, to look for jobs. That is why we are always particular that when the results are available, those who do not have issues, let them be released.
Modlami?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes. So I wanted to ask this question again. Apart from the peers who said that the ministry is trying to shift from content-based to competence-based knowledge. Maybe you can explain what does that entail. Given the fact that the sector has a very detailed policy, it is holistic according to some experts I have spoken to. But for them, there have been certain issues. Despite the fact that we have nice policies, good policies, there have been issues in terms of investment, funding gaps, all these things. So there are no plans also the ministry is trying to roll out as expressed by the permanent secretary. Is the ministry not biting more than what it can chew, given the lack of resources, investment in this sector?
No, I don't think we are buying more than we can chew. The PS is just saying or telling you that there is a paradigm shift. Instead of us concentrating on just examining children by asking them to recall and narrate, we want them to be able to have hands-on, competency-based. And that to happen, you need to change part of your curriculum. Remember, the kind of exams we have as of now, which you and I went through, is selective. Mainly to tell us these are the best group, these are the middle one, and these are the ones at the bottom. And society itself is also encouraging that kind of way of assessing children, which may not be perfect. And that is why, as a ministry, as I said, we are coming into the midterm review of our policy. But part of the curriculum reform started about a year or 2 ago, of how do we make sure that rather than we examine our children only to recall facts and regurgitate them, put it on a piece of paper, whereby people can cram a whole literature book and then vomit it, and the next 2 days you ask them, they cannot remember anything. But if they are able to learn, for example, introducing certain subjects that were not in the curriculum, plumbing, auto mechanic, there is not only a matter of the theory, but the practical component is coming in. So that children would be examined on competency base. What are they able to do with the little knowledge or after going through the education system? And that is going to help us to enable them, fit themselves better in society. The best ones who want to be academicians, want to go to university, will still continue. Those who want to, along the line, said, I want to be, a mechanic, I want to be a refrigerator operator or mechanic or those kind of skills, I want to be a plumber, then they will also be able to be not only self-employed, but contribute in the socio-economic development of this country. As we speak, the mentality of many of us Gambians is after school, I have to put on a tie and go to internal office. We have to do away with that because the majority of activities that will transform or develop this country are not going to be people with neckties and sitting in offices. They are going to be people with their overalls who will then work to make sure that we can move to the next level.
But colleagues, please, if you have something to add on to,
yeah, please,
don't just leave
please,
Mr. DPS with the press, please.
Please.
So the next question, I may ask anybody to answer.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, gentlemen.
Yes, my name is Alida from Paradise View. So first, let me just start my first question with talking of shifting from knowledge-based to
Competence, yeah.
Now, we understand that most of the schools do not have the required resources making sure that we fit in this policy that we want to talk about. What steps are you taking to making sure that these students who really want to invest more time on a competent basis to making sure that that is achieved? Because if you go to some of these schools, they have plumbing, technical drawing, and so forth, but the resources in terms of material-wise, in terms of human capacity, all is lacking. What step are you taking as a ministry to see that that is achieved?
Okay. What we are thinking as a ministry, we want to make sure we streamline our schools now, so that this school will specialize in this school will specialize in that. Depending on what you want to do, you go to that school. Currently, what we have, virtually all side fits, one side fits all. All these schools, I want to do science, you want to do technical, you want to do commerce, you want to do so that is not helping us. But for example, we say, okay, all the children who really want to do science and to become doctors and engineers, go to Nusrat, go to Gambia High School. Those who want to do plumbing, who want to do refrigerators, go to St. Peter's or Bottrop. The same will should apply in the schools in the provinces, so that people will now decide after grade 9, what do I want to be when I finish school? And that will guide you to know which school you are going to attend to. So that rather than one size fits all, we specifically have schools to specialize in order to enable them, train, mold the children that are coming into those schools to be what they want to be when they finish school.
All right. Another follow-up question with regards to
Hold on. You want to say something?
No, I'm just trying to add to that.
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
That's why
Go ahead.
the ministry has even opened about 3 Tibet schools.
Uh-huh.
We're emphasizing on Tibet. So yes, Tibet.
but how effective are these student schools in terms of resources and in terms of delivery?
It's we are need. Like I was saying, we have 3 schools already open. And based on the limited resources, like you're saying, we're taking it, it's gradual, and with time we'll get there.
Okay.
All right. Another follow-up question with regards to the elimination of the focus on the fact that we still lack resources in terms of finance, in terms of human resources. What measures are you taking as of now on a short term or middle term, making sure that by 2030 the objective you have of eliminating the level is
Yeah, I think there is one thing you may be missing. When the PS, he was giving you a scenario, because there is a lot of outcry in the social media. Yeah, the WASSCE must go. He was telling you, if we want to stop it now, based on what is available, keeping everything at constant, this is what we need in terms of resources. You and I know definitely, as a country, we cannot afford that. What the double shift was brought in as an efficiency measure to enable every Gambian child or children living in the Gambia have access to education. If not because of COVID, by 2020, we already have done with double shifting of teachers in Region 1. Double shifting of teachers. You know, we would have been double shifting classrooms. But unfortunately, when COVID came, we were compelled to force our class sizes down, which includes that you have more children, limited children in a class, but more teachers are required. So obviously, you can no longer think of double shifting classrooms on the teachers. But the policy pronouncement was by 2030, we would no longer be double shifting teachers, but we'll be double shifting classrooms. And I'm telling you, in 2020, before the coming of COVID, that's 2019-2020 academic year, all schools in Region 1 that academic year were to stop double shifting of teachers. But the classroom will continue, because even if you want to stop double shifting of classroom in Combo, you'll have a challenge because we don't have space to construct the classrooms. As the PS explained, that's why now we start bringing down some blocks and putting them vertically, just to accommodate more students. So what we are thinking as of now is, how do we make sure that by 2030, we don't double shift our teachers, but we can still make double shift the infrastructure, that's the classrooms.
Along that line, what measures are you taking?
The measures is we are training more teachers. We are building more classrooms to have space so that the children, you have limited number in a class, but you have more teachers to come and handle them. I have given you the scenario that in 2019-2020 postings, there was not a single school in Region 1 that was supposed to be double shifting teachers. And please underline that. I'm saying double shifting teachers. But the classroom will have been continued to be double shifted. Unfortunately, when COVID came, we could no longer carry on that. And if we are able to do it in Region 1, the following year we were going to expand to Region 2. And eventually, by 2030, we will have no teacher double shifting in this country, other than maybe the management of the school, the head teacher, the deputy, and the senior teachers, whose role is for monitoring and supervision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Mr. Baji?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm the chairman of the finance. Yes, but I'm very worried some of the questions that have come. They are good questions about education financing. How many of us have ever been to Ministry of Finance and said, how much are you giving education? Yes, we have our policy. Education, they have their own policy. But some they cannot go without finance. How many of you have ever been to NAMS and say, okay, we've come to interview to know how much money you are giving to education? Because they are all stakeholders. Some of you are parents. But
centralization of investment from the school in the
There must be electricity, there must be internet. I mean, that is beyond MoBSE. We all have to try to link up with our sister ministries who are responsible with those kind of infrastructures. What can they do to support us? Cannot have electricity. But the
I do think that the analysis is premature, given the fact that we still have over 1,500 results. We still have over 80 absentees registered, and yet still we want to tell the public how many people pass and how many people fail, number one. Number two, don't you think the ministry need to develop a framework, a standard? Because for me, I think the analysis, actually, the so-called analysis are biased. You go to some senior secondary schools, they are schools who produce candidates with even only, and that was the reason why that compromise was sought and the policy was named tertiary and higher education to bridge the gap between the two subsectors. Now, if emphasis is placed only on those with 5 credits and above, well, the country is investing millions of dollars on civic education. Well, just as recent as last month, GTI is considered to be a technical
added value. But this time around, because of the social media and the outcry publicly, we just wanted to say, let's come out to calm the population to understand that what is going around is not the correct information. And that guy came out with 4 credits. We appreciate and accept the criticism, but we want it to be constructive so that you help us to improve. You don't just sit down in your corner and just like, MoBSE is this, MoBSE is that, Minister is this, PS is that. No, we need to. You say, Mr. Job, we have seen the results, but 1, 2, 3, what are we going to do? Or can we do 1, 2, 3? So that you are helping us to develop as a country. I said the problem of education, which was repeated by my permanent secretary, is everybody's business. We have to blame ourselves as administrators. We blame our teachers to shift their responsibilities to the My people. You are most welcome.
Okay, I just want to ask a question. Is MoBSE happy about the results that's being given right now, like the 716 students passing out of 15,000? Is MoBSE satisfied with the results that we have?
You're coming late. You're coming late, Ma'am Jara. Very
Okay, Ma'am Jara, what I would want to say, I would correct first by correcting it. It's not 716 has passed. That is, those are people with English and mathematics, clearly. Yeah? But the percentage passes, the failure is 4.8. It has changed with the statistics today to 5.9. Are the people who have failed. 5.9%, which is about 884 candidates out from the 15,000 plus. 14,958 so far with the results received have passed. So it's not about 716. But then to come to the question whether we are happy, partially we are happy because we have brought down the failure rates. But on the other end, we are equally not happy because our 5 credits, including maths and English, has gone down. But the majority have at least something that can enable them to go to a tertiary education or a certificate that they can say we have. Or, you know, if they want to receive their exams as private candidates, they can improve on the grades if they want to. But I said it with GR test the other time. We have to, as a country, understand that not everybody writing the exam is university material. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Some people will go to university, some will not. But they have to go to other walks of life. They have to all specialize in other areas. And that is what we are thinking as a country. How do we, at the end of the day, to ensure that
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Jara. Any more questions? This sitting has been long and...
I just want to make a small contribution.
Okay, Mr. Marong. Sorry, I forgot them.
Members present, Mr. Marong, some of you will know, Mission High School principal. I just want to advise that let people sometimes appreciate the work that we do. Because the way we are vilified, really, we are down. We want society to really appreciate what we do in schools. We go through a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges.
I recognize the former Vice President of Nigeria and my leader, Laji Atiku Abubakar. All other protocols fully.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
It's Geo Life Music. Yeah, but vaccine, vaccine, vaccine.
banya fayu kuchi denga haru. Suñ waref la pour ñu jog aaru ndax ñu daan feebar bili le mo raw fa kaaru. Get vaccinated nga aaru from getting COVID. Arsa bopu ak sa dëkkandoo ba kenn du sik. Jël ko mooy lu war suñ buggee end this pandemic. Everything they look normal. Bye bye to COVID.
I know some ngole no tatay coronavirus. But I know some bad kairai di coronavirus. Jijoji pengu aja, pengu berambe nora, jaknuti penora, way virus ay. E pengu way free, e fimoro, jijoji pengu aja, berambe nora.
Sasa mansilong besa sotono mo fimo koi besa sotono fankanta kurto mo ne buka farano foisi fantanka ye vaccine sonota kamodo lutanka besa sotono dara por condara de boyo dara maudo dara pai kunjoni Ndara porto jo jaka Ndara marto ndara basudo Ime bengo den Dande ore men dande fai bebe jaka Gare bengo den Dande ore men dande fai bebe Yandi dande nene Dande baba
Vaccino nyinka Kura wanyima tumoye fonse vaccino nyinka Dunia beja kali telefonse vaccino nyinka Kelele fonse vaccino nyinka Nyikura njol buka balafa Abuka saramola komiko karafa Hanisi kajatola jatamota jato Konkole kajatafa Bimola koldun kwa balafa Kana balang kumake sola ko balana Dunia beba soronding mo buka dung mo buka ta buka na
Vaccine binyuna tawa jeliko boko jelule lor nga nekkal aral say xarit ar say dëkkandoo dawal gaaw bala jeex waaw
dégg na Madina de cuna fekk jëf wees dawal gaaw bul toog di xaar lii doy na waa fagaru na deluma leen corona bi metti na gaay moytu leen
fagaru na deluma leen corona bi metti na gaay moytu leen
ke vaccine ke Kenya soronda nga military angana mpate nga corona kata ya anakari idada khandi do dunasu ya awagambi kari ona corona ke ona kari
anyen yo nene vaccine den ko jelal magnu men yo nenen ko emen lady men yimbe men di mimbaki lo den niwen o nyaw bondo lady men yo vaccine den
Ndanyu kura ngokele nola Nimange kilenti Ndanyu kura ngokainola Ningani yolo mange kilenti Bala fabel mula bala hu Balimbe bota fasa
am soxla buga gis mu faju. No hesitation, dawal jël commences bul aju. Lembe aduna besun fit to talk, but we can't stay home cause we gotta go to work. Get vaccinated to knock it out. Get our normal lives back, we can't walk it out.
Sifuda dali onyao kasali, onyao kasali. Pia ma vaccine wote jabali, wote jabali. One onyao alamona nali, alamona nali. Kodi ha porte pale ani. Wadi habedo ani Fida vaccine nada koya reno Bay na fonyeti o vaccine Jol ko kale yoreno Etin di labi ko dunlon ko feundo Coronavirus no wodi Onya wono feundi Rene ngore mo Ko dundon wadi ko be yeuti
Yaga ning Di ko joy Legi am na fi Yaga ning Di ko xaar léegi yegsi na ne ñu def li ñu war feebar bi jeex vaccine bi am na fi génn leen man ak yow kii keeley ñépp war na leen aar mag ñi ak ndaw ñi suñu yaay ak baay fagaru gen faju xam nga loolu ñi mu rey bari nañ mu jati amin
No white ñaan na ci boole gwer gi yaram ndax moo lay tax ba neexoo nit yi dematuñ business yi doxatuñ kenn kafatul dafa mel ni sax time bi léegi sax doxatul sona noon feebar mooy sa noon why do vaccine bi cause vaccine bi mooy garab bi di saafara lii
Kurang kurang woy Anala bori Kurang kurang woy Anala bori Doktorol fan le konkana sila woy Talingan pengu Doktorol fan le konkana sila woy Mobe pengu Kurang kurang woy Anala bori Kurang kurang woy Anala bori Doktorol fan le konkana sila woy Talingan